started, you have to now.
I don't have to do anything. I will make potatoes for you. Make your own daggone potato.
I will.
Good.
I will. PNC is live right now.
PNC is live right now.
PNC Bank. I wish I knew where my guitar pick went.
I wish I didn't know mine.
Look at whose butt.
Your butt.
Oh, Tim won. Great. 10-1. Quiz Wong. Quiz Wong. Ew. It's gonna hurt my fingernails doing this. Haven't caught your stream in a while. Well, welcome back, Brandon. Brandon's here. Hillary, do you want to make your debut on YouTube? So you can tell people you've been on YouTube before? With a famous person like Chris? Not really famous.
What?
What?
You're what?
I'm not really famous.
Okay. I'll go over there and be like, hi everyone.
Hillary, you have to actually do something if you're going to be on camera. Like, add insight to what's going
I
on.
just have to be myself.
Well, that's not entertaining, so.
Excuse you. I am very hilarious.
I don't think it counts laughing at your own jokes. But
That's me, though. I like to laugh at my own jokes. No one else likes my jokes.
Paul Daniel says, hi, Chris, sweetie darling. How you doing? Well, welcome, Paul. Paul Lewis. We have a new Paul in the house. We have like 4 Pauls now.
Should I come say hi to all the Pauls? Like Paul.
Paul Daniel says Micah sounded like a crazy doll on a tricycle.
Want to play a game?
There's only a couple of viewers? Yeah. We've gotten quite a few. What's up, Shrimply? Shrimply Pibbles. Pibbles. Alright. So, we're doing iPhone 6 with no baseband. Or no IMEI. Searching no service. So I'm going to enter in the passcode. And we'll show you that the IMEI does not come up when you dial the dialer here. They took the SIM card out of this one, so I'm going to have to see if I can find a SIM that'll work. Alright, so star pound 06 pound. When you hit the, well, if I can hit the star here, it should come up with the IMEI right here, but it doesn't show anything. If you go into settings, it usually will show the IMEI, but did you hear Windows XP? Yes, you did. Micah is working on a computer that requires Windows XP to run a piece of software. Usually the IMEI will show here in the settings, but it won't show up when you dial star pound 06 pound. What's up, Miguel? Has anyone eaten the Reapers yet? Actually, Anthony, I need you to send me a couple more. We're going to eat some on stream, actually. It should be terrible. Send me like 3 or 4 of them. One of the ones that came in was already kind of funky. Micah's back there perfecting Windows XP installations.
No, I'm not. I can't get the fucking graphics drivers to fucking work.
Everyone gets a baseband -1. Micah, everyone. Actually, I don't think this one would give you an error on restore. This isn't necessarily a problem with the IMEI showing up in settings. It's more of a problem with the IMEI not showing up when you dial to see it. Kneecap busted. What's up, DNM? 3X, how you all? Lewis, welcome from Portugal. He's He's making a Vista ringtone.
I know, Hillary. You're nuts.
How did that iPhone you asked for PC turn out? What do you mean iPhone that I asked for PC? Oh, passcode? Which one was that, Anthony? I don't remember. I think we did get the passcode for that one. D&M, I'm not sure if there's some type of like instant check done whenever you do the dial tone or the dial pad versus looking in settings. I think when you do the settings, it will save it from restore, but it's not something that's ever updated again. It's just kind of a stored information. Oh yeah, it's done. The iPhone 6 is done, Anthony. The battery in that one, Anthony, looked a little sketchy when I plugged it into 3U tools, so I went ahead and replaced it too. It was already down. It said it had like 200 charge cycles, but it was down to like 70% battery capacity, which seemed kind of low. Yeah, dialed IMEI version is more reliable than what's in the settings. The thing I normally look for in settings, if you have problems with power to the baseband, is look and see if the modem firmware is gone. If modem firmware is missing, then you have power issues going to baseband. What's up, Paul? Our other Paul is here. Mike, I keep checking on that XP. Ignore that lady.
I'm gonna fill this guy.
No, you won't. You'll eat it.
I will eat this.
Exactly. See the mind power I have, Micah?
The mind power I have, Chris.
Shut up, Hillary. Yeah, I gotta work on that S7. The SIM trays came in.
Chris.
Shut the fuck up, Hillary. Alright, so
This wrong.
we're gonna make you get on stream, Hillary, and fix something.
I mean, no.
No. I mean,
No.
no.
I'm gonna come over there and be like, see what I have to deal with.
What you have to deal with, you don't work here.
You're the one who keeps trying to give me a job.
No, you asked me. You said, "Can I work down there?" And I was like,
No.
"Oh, I guess."
That was sarcasm.
Micah, oh, you don't want to work here? Well, fuck off then. How about them apples?
Okay, mister, I'm getting defensive about it.
It's okay, Hillary. We have a nice workforce here.
Give me that. Back. Give me it back. Give me it back.
Let go.
Give me it back. Give me
Hillary,
it
I'm
back.
trying to work.
What you doing? Give me that chocolate.
iPhone 6 with no image. All caps, filters, everything read right. Backlight is fine, however, 0 volts on PP, GPU, end of the road. D&M, PMIC would be the only thing left that I could think to check, since it makes the voltage for it. Usually, though, just because GPU voltage isn't there doesn't mean it's a PMIC issue. Try pressing on the CPU and see if you get image. Sometimes it can be a data line that goes to the CPU is broken, so you don't get any image. I actually had one like that a couple weeks ago. If I pressed on the CPU, I had backlight only with no image. I pressed on the CPU and I got image. What am I doing? A bit slow last week. Hoping it picks. Yeah, we had a slow week starting out this week. Thank you, Brandon. Got the faces with it too. Yeah, you have to have an image signal line before you'll get voltage. So I'm thinking that you probably have a signal line issue, not necessarily PMIC. Unless it's water damage, it could be if it was water damage. If there's no short on that line, it's probably going to be a signal problem. Alright, so we're going to take off the baseband shield here. I'm using a nozzle with no tip on it. Normal working temperature that I always use, I use 350. I'm just putting a slight upward pressure on the shield right under the bottom corner. Alright, I heard it pop, so it's probably going to release here in a second. You can hear when the solder starts to release on these when you're putting pressure against it. You can see the solder melted on the edge. It's probably the center that I'm waiting on. Yeah. Okay, the center's starting to release now. Alright, so I like to lift mine up at that angle, let it cool for a second. That way I don't hit anything under the shield. And then you can use just a back and forth movement to get the shield to come off the top edge there. And that kind of prevents you from knocking any components out whenever you're taking this off. You can use the drop method too, but I found that the baseband components seem to be pretty sensitive to that stuff. So that's just the method that I've kind of gone with. So you can look here, you can see we haven't really hit anything. This one is the CDMA version, so all these items down here are populated. On the AT&T versions, these particular areas are not populated. No problem, DNM. Yeah, I use the red one on iPhone 5s. I've still got it. It's really good. I use it on iPads too. I really like that holder a lot. Actually, we need to finish up our reviews. I haven't had time to do any of it. I need to get it done though. I'll probably do them tomorrow because we're caught up on everything now, finally. So now we got this shield off. We need to flip it over and take off the back shield. I may do that after. It's not really necessary right now. I do need to put my tip back on, my hot air. You're a fucking hot air. Anthony, you can, but there's obviously some differences because only the CDMA models have these components down here at the bottom populated. Like if it's a Sprint or Verizon phone, these are the only ones on here. Like if I grab another iPhone, like these are iPhone 6s, but they have the same components. You'll see like this one is populated. This one, I took off a chip there, but this one is not. See how it's missing that chip at the bottom? See? Missing those components. This one's missing those components. I took one of those off. But, like, I don't know what the difference is. There must be some type of coverage that they don't work with. What's up, Jay? Spectre? How we doing? I don't know. It's just something that I've seen with the Verizon phones and the Sprint phones. They have these chips right here, and other models don't. So, oh god. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They're related to bands, like maybe LTE bands. Micah, you look beautiful. You look beautiful, Micah.
You better not, and you'll see what happens. I'll post this one too. Micah, here's another one. Look. I know. Look at this one.
I feel like these are all dirty pictures.
No, they're not. It's my mom. Look.
That's the picture of the mom.
You shut the fuck up.
I've seen those photos.
Here's me as a raccoon. I sent this to Ashley.
Hold on. Try and get this chip off safely. Let's see your raccoonness.
My raccoonness.
Did you try the included chip holder that come with the red board holder? I found it.
Here's yours a bunny too.
I haven't tried it, Jay. Honestly, I mean, I don't know that I would honestly ever use it. A lot of these holders come with like the cutouts for different chips, so I guess if I didn't have a stencil or a holder that held it, it would be good, but most of the stuff we work on, we do have something that'll hold it. Alright, so we got that off. At least it's, yeah, underfill on the baseband on the 5Cs. Yeah, the 5 series is not fun for baseband. Alright, so I did a little training today with one of our customers in Nashville. He did pretty well. Tweezers are a little dry. Alright, so we're just going to take, and I've got a blob of leaded solder on the end of my tweezers there. I'm not even touching the board with the tweezers. I'm just letting the solder pick up what it needs to pick up. It's a blonde. And now we'll do some braiding. Wick your pads, kids. Wick your pads.
Chris thinks he's cool.
Hillary thinks I'm cool too. It's really nice of her. Hillary said, "You're getting a game room. I want to hang out in the game room." I was like, "Hillary, you're not allowed. It's the He-Man Woman Haters Club." There's 40 people watching you standing in the corner. Actually, they can't see you. God, you're a creeper.
I don't think anyone saw
Oh, they saw you. Somebody said, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
death.
Evidently 320 degrees Celsius is far too low.
Far too low.
Far too low. So we'll kick it up a little more here. Just a notch. Kick it up a notch. Who's that? That's Hillary. That's Micah's other thing.
Other thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a side chick. That's Micah's side boo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
She hates when she gets called side boo.
I'm gonna punch you.
It's okay. Is that Micah's mom? Because I know it's not his girlfriend. Oh!
Oh!
Yeah, Micah's girlfriend's not here right now.
Micah's girlfriend's not here right now.
That's Micah's wifey. We don't talk about his girlfriend when she's around.
What?
I I know you're in your mind right now going, is he being for real?
She is. I know.
Is he being realsies right now?
Look, there's some bubbles outside.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're always out there. Whenever they come in here, they're
What problems?
You're a problem.
They're watching Hillary through the window. Just saying, dance, monkey, dance.
I'll pull my pants down and tell them to suck my butt.
I don't know if that's how that works, Hillary. It's not how any of this works.
That's not how any of this works. Purple. This is green and black. When did you guys do it? Oh, this is not for the 7. This is for the S4.
Evidently, those pads don't want to melt. I might have to replace TriStar if I'm not careful. I've noticed a lot of the baseband's TriStar gets hot enough on the other side. This wick also sucks. This is MG Chemicals. I need to order more of mine. It's not that bad, but it just doesn't absorb as easily. Alright, that's good enough. It's good enough. Please explain. They're having aneurysms because they don't like the wick pads over there. Hillary's putting on gloves. She's about to do some rectal examinations.
Chris, you're first.
I mean, if you want to stick your fingers in my ass, I guess go for it.
I'm not gonna
At least if you're gonna do it, tell me if I've got prostate issues or not.
Like, there's a lump.
There's a lump in there. Hillary, are you trained for this?
No.
Or is this just a pleasure thing?
It's part of my Twitch TV fetish.
Mentioned it on Facebook, no service success. No service successes are fun because they can be anything. I haven't seen really any telltale signs of issues with the success. There's a few common issues, but I haven't seen anything in particular. Alright, so we need to flip this over and take the rear shield off now.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Huh? General butt water.
What?
Paul is mad? No, he's not mad.
What?
Hope I can fix it live. We'll try. Can you check if Baseband's having other issues? Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. At the beginning of the stream, we did the IMEI check. So that kind of tells us if Baseband is sending out the proper, like, RF signal stuff for CPU. And if it's not, we know we have a problem. Because Baseband won't show up when you dial *#06# like it normally would. That's the first thing I check before doing baseband. If the IMEI is present, most of the time it's not baseband. There have been times where it has still been a baseband problem. Man, this one's got a shit ton of underfill on TriStar. Usually it's pretty light. It's a healthy dose right there. So we're going to be coming through and attaching to that pad right there. What's up, Christopher?
Chris is talking to himself.
Yeah, I am. Hillary's talking to herself too. She just sits at home and is like, I'm gonna kill everyone. Hillary, you want a new or a new piercing in your ear?
No.
It's self-cauterizing. You don't even have to do anything.
Give me another nose piercing.
Yep. I hope you complete your bone through your nose look.
problem.
Evidently Micah's throwing up or something.
I'm not gonna have a phone in my nose.
Alright, so we got that tinned.
That guy looks like a
Had a baseband issue on my 6 and got that fixed not too long ago. Yeah, iPhone 6 and 6S or 6 Plus are easy. It's hash. Why are you saying pound? It's hashtag. Duh. Hillary, it's hashtag.
What are you talking about?
It's not pound, it's
About.
hashtag. Are you trying to appeal to the Canadian viewers that we have?
Yes.
What about the Australian viewers?
Yeah, Australia.
Yeah.
Australian viewers.
Paul's in here talking to us. Hold on 1 second. Yellow. Stripper. 2, 3, 2, 1. Out of the case. Strips. New York. The case. New York strip. Yep. Strip. 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 Yes, ma'am. Yep. How much is the ribeye? Yeah, so it's not much different. Yeah, I do strip. Yeah. Alright, love ya. Bye.
Is that your side chick?
Yeah, it's my side chick. It's also my main squeeze, too. Star hashtag 0 hashtag.
What?
It's an inside joke, Hillary. You wouldn't understand. All the cool kids know. You have to breathe like that when you say it, too. Now it just sounds like you're being weird.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Yes, it was.
Alright, so we're scraping back the vias here next to these pads. The pad that normally causes the issue is this one right here. I'm not sure if it causes a dry joint or if there's a physical crack in this line right here, but either way it has problems. And a lot of these probably could be solved by just running a heavier trace along that line. It's very, very thin right there. Plus these phones bend at those points, which makes it worse. What time is dinner? Probably in an hour and a half. Yeah, we're gonna do long jumper. We will be doing long jumper. Jess ran the wire through the screw hole for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why she did that. I watched it afterwards and I was a little confused. Normally I just go right through the alignment hole right here. And you're right there by it, so it's done. Play with it and the pad will come off. Yeah, I know the pad will normally lift. I try not to lift them if I don't have to, but shit happens. So we got our piece of wire. Now this works every time the first time off stream. So I fully suspect this won't work at all first time on stream because that's how it always is, but we'll find out.
We kept passing each other in the aisles.
Alright, so
I get done working out and he checks out. And he's in his car. His car is parked right beside mine. It was funny. He was talking about buying a ping pong paddle, but it wasn't on his list. I told him to do it anyway. I don't know. Just
okay.
because.
That's down, so let's clip that.
If you beat people with a ping pong paddle, maybe he has like a weird face.
Maybe he's a Bowflex ping pong paddle guy.
Over pet. What?
Bowflex ping pong paddle.
No, he doesn't understand.
No, I don't.
Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs. You ain't got no legs,
Jeez,
Lieutenant
I don't
Dan.
know every single freaking movie quote or.
Hillary, I may not be a smart man, but I know what Forrest Gump is. Send a note on what peppers are what. Don't eat the wrong one, think it's Reaper, but you have 18 to eat and cook with. Okay.
You just tell me.
Thank you, Anthony. I don't know why YouTube changed my display name. It's really weird. It's been the same name since I started, and I didn't change anything, but for some reason it changed over recently. If I can grab this wire, I'd be doing well here. This wire is extremely long for what I need. Alright, so let's flip it over and grab our wire here. Okay. So we have grabbed our wire. And we need to... I want to pull it fairly tight, but not super tight, because we do have to kind of angle it on the other side. Let me tack this down. I'll show you all where I've attached it. I know you all can't see much right now. Okay. So the test point, which feeds that line, well, it doesn't feed that line, but that line runs through it. It's right there, so we just attach directly to that test point. And then when we flip it over, we can adjust the positioning of this line. So we want it to kind of run along baseband for a second, and then we want it to go down into this hole. How long does baseband repair last with just the via jumpers? I'm not sure. I mean, people have said they last forever, but I don't trust that short of a connection normally. The GPS line, I haven't seen any ill effect from the GPS line breaking, but I'm sure there's something that happens with it. The cell line is something that people more rely on, so I do tend to run the longer jumper just to make sure. The cell line runs up under the SIM tray, which is not terribly hard to pull, but it does add a little bit more to the repair. So since the main issue seems to be cellular signal, that's the main one that I'm really worried about. Alright, so let our alcohol dry here a little, and then we need to put down some conformal coating. Yeah, I mean, the short jumper may work just as well. I mean, since it's so close to the test point, I don't really see any point in not running it the full length. But I wouldn't think that there would be anything that would be negatively affected by running the short jumper. If people run short jumper, by all means. There's one guy that posted on the forums that says he just takes short jumpers and shoves them up under the baseband, and it works for him. So there's many ways to skin a cat in this situation. Excuse the saying, Paul Daniels. I too am a cat lover, you know. But there's multiple ways to do this. Pulling the SIM tray? No, it's not hard at all. It just adds more to the repair. How dare you? Yeah, I'm raging. Now I'm gonna get a YouTube copy or a YouTube strike for that one. He's talking about skinning cats on his show.
Why are you skinning cats?
Mike is over there getting blue screen to death.
No, I ain't getting that. It's not. It's doing the same thing it's doing on Windows 7. It won't let me activate.
There's more than one way to skin a dingo.
It won't let me
Oh my
activate
God.
the software.
See you, Paul.
It won't let me activate shit.
I usually take the whole SIM tray off in one piece. But the dingo took the baby. It's kind of true. The dingo ate my baby. Paul's over there like, you fucking continental bastards. Continentalist.
Continental bastards.
I don't know if we can be racist. We're both English, technically.
They're redneck Brits. Though.
The redneck Brits? No, they're the outlaw Brits.
No, they're redneck Brits.
We'll see what Paul has to say about that. No audio during call? Yeah, it was the audio I see for the 6 Plus. If it's the same one I'm thinking of. The 5S, I mean, it's a tricky one. I don't mess with them much just because it's not really cost effective for the customer. I guess if you had a bunch of them and were trying to sell them, it would make sense to do. But for a customer or anybody mailing them in, it's just, I mean, you can't make any money on them. It's quite a bit of work, quite a bit more than these. I didn't get to see if how Jess's reball went on hers. Did she have trouble with that regular stencil, just the flat square punch? I know I used to have a little bit of problem with them. But continentalist. I'm on a different continent. Screw you.
Error 2, error 2. Don't know what error 2 is.
What's giving you error 2?
Keygen. I'm following the directions.
Have you installed all the service or the net framework packs?
Yeah. Latest one. It's with Keygen. Another Keygen's working on.
It's becoming a piece of shit because we're trying to put fucking this hacked ass software on there for the guy, and none of it fucking works because it's a piece of shit hacked software.
Yeah, it's China soft. Error code 2.
About to just be like, here's your money back. Yeah. $45. He's buying some like $600 piece of software that instead of paying like the $2,000-$3,000 for their official stuff, that works on Windows 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an XP computer that he's working on.
No, it's not even XP. It's Windows 7 that forced drivers onto.
What?
It's a Windows 7 machine.
I know it's a Windows 7 machine
Yeah,
that we put Windows XP on.
Yeah, on it, and then it's almost impossible to get drivers since it wasn't made for XP.
I mean, the last time on his brother's machine, I just ran a Windows XP virtual machine to run some of it, but not, even then, most of it wouldn't work. Like, some of it would work on Windows 10, and very little of it would work on the XP, like, emulated shit. .3D stencil, yes, 3D stencil. These are from Union Repair. They have 2 different versions that you can buy on their website. Alright, somehow the baseband got way off, so that's going to have to be redone. I don't know how, because this stencil doesn't let it move. Something must have been wrong there. I've never had problems with that before.
Sean said I got their videos.
I need to put down a piece of paper towel. That usually is what I normally do, but I tried to do it on the bottom here. Paper towel, whenever you do it under these, keeps them from moving. And it allows the stencil to kind of flex without losing contact with the chip. I don't know how that moved though. The only thing I think is there was maybe a piece of solder stuck in there. Because once it's down in those grooves, it's extremely hard to get it to pop out of the groove. Alright, let's get a piece of paper towel and do this correct way. Paper towel allows the chip to kind of push down inside of it some, so. Let's clean the stencil out again. Live stream curse? Maybe. It really, it's hard to get them to pop out of these stencils. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, so there we go. Let's grab our solder paste here. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm going to refill this with no tension on the stencil so those balls can kind of sit down where they need to. Alright, so that looks good. We'll check it once we pull it, make sure there's none that need to be dropped on by hand, which sometimes needs to be done, but 75 pounds for baseband. What's that come out to be? We charge for businesses 100. I mean, the way we look at it is, if they take it to Apple, their option is replace the phone. If they take it to their carrier, the option usually is either at least a $100 deductible, if not more. We usually price it at $100, so the customer or the business can charge about $150, which most customers don't have a problem spending that much on these phones. And I mean, if they go out and try to buy another phone, they're going to spend more than that. So you kind of have to keep that in mind whenever you're pricing this stuff.
They're trying to open the sound.
Yep. Alright, so there our baseband is reballed.
Hey, bud.
We'll clean it up now. Too much heat? No.
Hey, was it even on?
Probably not. Micah, you turn it on this morning?
It wasn't even on.
Damn, Micah. We missed out on all those customers.
Yeah, all those customers are so
Yeah, all those customers.
Alright, so
Hater.
all those tiny balls. It's really amazing how little solder is actually on these things. Might actually reball that one again because this is a little low on this end. Which reballing it again will make those a little bigger actually. So we'll do that.
can't.
What?
None of the key gens fucking work.
It's got to be a net framework package issue.
Maybe I got it downgrade.
No? What's it on?
I put it to the wait, there we go. I think I finally generated.
Alright, so we're going to rub it down one more time here. I'm going to reball it. Okay. Reballed. I don't understand, like Lewis put up a video, I haven't watched it, but the name of the video really kind of made me agree, like iPhone repair, a lot of the times we're repairing devices that cost the customer $600-700 originally, and it's almost like the customers have no appreciation for what they put into the device, like cost wise. So when you tell them that it's $100 to fix something, they're like, well, why is it so much? But then you have the same people that have MacBooks that cost them the same price years earlier, and they'll bring it into you and you'll tell them, well, it's like $200-300 to fix this, and they're like, okay. And I don't understand the difference. Like, they can go out and buy a newer MacBook the same way they could go out and buy a newer iPhone. But for some reason, there's this mentality, and I think it has to do with the way they're paid for. They're not subsidized, but they're broken down payments, so people don't have as much, I guess, appreciation for what they're paying. I don't know. Yeah, phones are seen as disposable. It's really odd. Alright, that looks better. It's more consistent all the way around. Alright, so we'll get some flux down.
I cleaned fish tanks all day today.
'Cause it's their job.
It's not my job.
It's not my job.
Micah worked on electronic devices all day.
I did. All day.
I'm a guest advisor. I advise people.
I'm a guest advisor as well.
Yeah, Micah's a guest advisor.
I advise everyone here to be our guest.
I advise people to stop being assholes.
Be our guest. Be our guest.
Here's the way that I look at repairs. So, if it's something serious enough that requires board repair, you have to think of the cost that the customer can get it replaced at versus what you think your time is worth. So, I charge kind of low, I guess, compared to people like Jessa or other businesses. Jessa charges quite a bit for data recovery, but data recovery is a niche market where people are willing to pay more because the data is worth it to them. I think with general repair, a lot of the thing you have to keep in mind is some of these repairs, like TriStar, if you think about it, all of these repairs are almost like data recovery. Like if you don't fix this problem, there's a chance that they may not even be able to get anything off of the device. So when you price something, think about that. Like, how much is that data on that phone worth to them? If they don't care, they're not going to spend money on it. They just won't. Or how much does the device matter to them in general? And like, we try to be fair on pricing. TriStar doesn't always mean the phone won't turn on, but sometimes it does.
Okay.
Chris, what time will we see you at your house?
iPads that we fixed, all of them except one, did we fix. Huh?
What time shall we see you at your house?
I'm almost done with this. I've just got to check and see if it works, and then see if
Bye,
TriStar's
people of
functional.
Chris's stream. Have a wonderful evening.
They're
Let's see.
internet friends.
They're my internet friends, Hillary. God, you ruined it! You embarrassed me in front of all my friends.
Internet friends.
Alright,
Go
so
outside and get some real friends, Chris.
we don't have any shorts. That's good. These are my real friends.
These are my real friends.
Go home and feed your indoor horses, aka Great Danes. Eh.
Hillary, don't do that.
See y'all in a little bit.
See y'all. See you in
All right. Make bank? No, not really anything. We don't charge you all a whole lot, honestly. Like, I don't think y'all have ever spent a whole lot with us. Like, you do, but like, we have a customer in Nashville that spends about $15,000 with us each year. They're probably one of our bigger accounts, which probably is small beans for some people, but don't get me wrong, I enjoy all the mail-in. So don't take it as them saying, well, you ain't shit. Am I playing World War II yet? Yeah. I've been playing it for a while, since it came out. Well, first night I couldn't even get on because it wouldn't fucking load. What really pisses me off about COD is I pre-ordered the damn thing like 4 months ago, and I don't even get any pre-order shit for it. I just got to play the fucking beta. That was it. Yeah, you could be cheaper at first, but that kind of tells the people that you started out with that, I don't know, that you can change your mind on stuff. We've been slowly changing prices on stuff to a little more expensive. Like, I used to do iPhone 6 batteries at like 45 plus tax, but I'm really thinking about bumping it up to 55 just based on the prices that everybody else is quoting. Like, again though, I'm in a situation where I'm having to deal with it's hard to price in this area because there's so much competition. You can't really price up. Now, if all the competition would come up, it makes everybody more money, but it's hard to do because you try to be competitive in pricing to gain customers, but at what point are you hurting yourself? But I think we're going to bump up the batteries a little bit. Yeah, Anthony, most places I've seen charge 70 plus for batteries, so I think we're going to come up to like 55. And considering like these devices are something that, like, a battery is not something they're going to be replacing very often, maybe once or twice tops. I think a shop mentioned your name when they used to send you stuff. Who's that, Ian? used to send me stuff. Alright, so we get our device back on. 370 896. Alright, so let's see if we now have a baseband and dialer now. Which we should. Or IMEI, excuse me. See, now when I dial *6 or *#06#, it gives me the IMEI number. So *#06#. I now have an IMEI, where before it wouldn't show me anything. So chances are when we pop a SIM card in this thing, it's gonna get service. I don't know if I have any active SIM cards though. I keep forgetting to take them out of phones, and then the phones leave and I don't have an active SIM card to test with. Let me see if this one is an active card. I like to use Verizon SIMs because they'll pull a signal even if it's not supported. Thank you. I appreciate it, Frank. Alright, so this one says no service because it probably isn't active. I don't know that I have an active SIM here to test with. I guess I can pull mine out and pop it in. Let me pop my SIM card into this real quick. And my SIM eject tool is now missing also. Everything grows legs around here. There it is. Well, that's awesome, Frank. What the fuck am I doing? Pull the wrong one. Put your SIM in, tell us your number, I'll call you to test. I'd rather not give out my phone number. I mean, my business number is available if you all want to call it, I guess. I got another review on I think it was Google the other day. I don't know who the guy is, but evidently his name isn't on our records. But some guy left a review and said that we were terrible and that we didn't fix his phone. I was like, man, if we don't fix something and you bring it back, we'll take care of it. But we had one, it may have been the guy that brought us a G5. His G5, he broke it after he tried to open a door and sandwiched it between okay, so there you go. My SIM does work in it because it's a Verizon phone. So we've got 3 bars of AT&T 4G. Now we're getting news coming in, and it's asking to update carrier settings. So normally we get 1 to 2 bars in here, so I suspect that'll be 1 or 2 bars LTE. Let's see if it goes to LTE here in a second. It should switch to LTE. I did the carrier settings upgrade. AT&T 4G. Let's see if it goes LTE. It should. Trying to keep the screen awake. It should drop to 2 bars or 1 bar LTE. No, it's still saying 4G. Let's make sure it'll make a phone call. Calling the business number. Yeah, so it's calling. Alright, so cell signal is back. The baseband repair was successful. The carrier updates are APN settings, I suspect. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Because they'll automatically Apple automatically pulls those settings. Sometimes it won't. You actually have to download the APN settings and install them manually, but I'm pretty sure the carrier update is just an APN setting update, so that all your data and stuff works properly. Sandwich board makes it to the iPhone 11. I'm sure it will. I'm sure that standard in board size will become a norm if it's not problematic in the 10. See you, Shrimply. I gotta put this shield back on and then I am done, which won't take very long. On these shields, when you run through the center, you have to look here on the front edge. There's an alignment pin that goes through that hole. You need to trim that. If you don't, that pin will cut the wire. I've done that, personally speaking, and it's not any fun because you have to rerun that jumper wire, and no bueno is doing that. So there, I've got that trimmed off, so now it won't hit the wire. I also need to check real quick. I'm going to check TriStar and make sure. The TriStar can get damaged because of the amount of heat on the other side of the board sometimes. And since it's underfilled, it causes problems. So I want to make sure that that is not an issue. Nope, TriStar is still working, so that's good. We've had a couple that have come back with TriStar problems, and we don't charge the customer anything. Because it is a side effect sometime of doing this. So keep that in mind when you're doing these repairs, to check TriStar after you're done to see if it's been messed with. Has anybody, I believe they've confirmed that those pads in between on the iPhone 10 are just ground, aren't they? I think that's been confirmed. It's only ground. That the flexes themselves are what do all the interconnect communication between the two boards. Because if you look at the flexes, there's a bunch of flexes, but they don't go anywhere. They just loop back. At least that was my understanding. I mean, if it's just ground, you literally could take your iron and build up a little bit of solder between the two and reconnect it. Okay, I need to get this sandwich down a little better. Just had a customer come back with their TriStar being stupid on their 6 Plus. He did about 4 or 5 months back. He didn't want to send it back. Why didn't he want to send it back? Tell him to stop using shitty chargers. We had a guy come in today. He was like, I got an iPhone 6. It was another company. He was like, I got an iPhone 6. It's not turning on. And I plugged it in. It was pulling about 250 milliamps, which is usually TriStar is fucked up. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's TriStar. I was like, well, he has like 3 other devices that all have the same problem. They won't turn on now after charging them up. I was like, is he using a shitty charger? He's like, yeah, I think so. I was like, well, that's probably what it is. He's like, yeah, I agree. Like, customers don't take that into mind. Like, I try to tell customers whenever they're buying chargers, like, they'll ask me, like, well, why are they so much more expensive? They're like, I can go buy a cheapo one down here for $5. I'm like, well, there's a difference because, god damn it, why won't this sit in place? I'm gonna tack it here first. I was like, there's a big difference because those are not MFI certified. I was like, you don't have to buy Apple, but you need to make sure that it's at least MFI certified. That way you know that it has the proper chips in it. And people don't understand that. Like, they burn up phones just because of that. Like, something simple costs them more money than just spending a little bit more up front. Like, people's cheap nature is what gets them in trouble. Apple cables and bricks for 15, like 15 a piece or 15 total. Because if they're only 15 total, you might want to check that. 15 a piece, I can see. I personally only sell RAV power. 15 a piece. Okay. RAV Power is a MFI certified company. You can look them up on Apple's website. Their cables come in 2-packs normally, but they're really cheap. A 2-pack is like $5, and I sell them for $15 for the 3-foot cables and $25 for the 6-foot cables. Anchor is the same way. You can buy 6-foot anchor cables for about $10 for 2 6-footers, and then you can turn around and sell them for $25. They're all MFI certified. I've never had a single problem out of them. I've cut the RAV Powers open personally and looked at the actual chips. They use the correct chips. And like I said, you can go on Apple's website. They have an MFI certified section that you can look up any provider. If they don't have Apple's blessing to use their proprietary technology for their chargers, they won't show up on the list. And that's what I always go by. I don't care what anybody tells me. If you're not on their list, you haven't directly applied for the whatever, the user license or whatever the fuck they call it. The brick does still matter. If the brick is sending big voltage spikes through, it can damage the cable and possibly the phone. The cable does do a lot of checks and balances for you. So you don't have to be super concerned with damage from that, but a good brick is always worth the money. You can buy, we buy RAV Power again for our bricks. We sell them at $25 for the fast chargers and like $15 for the cheapos, like the 2 amp single ports. They also have car chargers that have quick charge, which we sell for $20. I mean, you can make like 300% profit on this stuff and sell a good product and not have to buy cheap stuff. If you explain to customers the difference in buying a cheap charger versus a quality one, they usually will tend to buy the better one. Now, of course, you can't please everybody. There's going to be some people that are like, oh, I'm going to go down here and buy one for $5. And then, I mean, you're not going to win that customer. And I've seen some bricks with my good cables. We had a brick in here that a guy said he was using to charge his phones, but when he would plug it in, the touch would stop working. And that's because it was sending so much ripple on the line, it was causing the I guess the TriStar to fuck up, because the signal was interfering with maybe like the AP signal that it talks to TriStar with. So like the touch would stop working altogether. As soon as you put a good brick with that cable in there, it would work perfectly fine. Are BMW and Mercedes USB certified? I don't know. I'm sure they have cleaner power outputs than some of these $5 cables. It's crazy when you break down those really cheap cables and look inside of them, or the cheap bricks. Man, there's no power control there at all. Like, no cleanliness or nothing. They're just using like a step down transformer and then some voltage regulation, and that's it. Like, Like, there's nothing in them. They've got a few feedbacks just to make sure the little all-in-one package voltage regulators don't burn themselves up. Like, if you ever get a chance, open one of those up. It is crazy the difference in them. And I'm not a big fan of paying overpriced stuff. Like MacBook chargers, I always buy refurbished OEM ones. Like, they put new cables on them, I buy them at half the cost. Yeah, it could be an I2C line. It also has AP line on that stuff too. On the TriStar. Yeah, the bricks are really scary. Like, I wish I had the cable that I cut up the other day. I don't know what I did with it. It was one of my RAV powers, but I needed the end for an experiment, and I sacrificed one of my cables. The good thing about RAV Power too is they offer at least a 1-year warranty on their products, and some of them even lifetime warranties on them. All you have to do is fill out you have to make an account on their website and enter the serial numbers. All their products have serial numbers on them, even the cables, and they're all individual. So, like, this is a RAV Power lightning cable, and if you look on the side of it, if it'll focus, there's a serial number on each cable. So you enter that out on their website, and they give you an extended 12 months. So you can get 2-year warranty replacement for their cables, and they'll replace them if they break, if the wires fray or anything on them. Alright, so that backup's done. Local Target sells MacBook chargers for $45 and $65. That's pretty good. Our only options here are either Best Buy or the Apple Store. I haven't checked to see if Target has them or not. I buy them online refurbed for $45. I buy the 85 watt I2C power IC lines. I2C is a data line, usually the CPU. Well, pretty much everything talks on the I2C lines, but... Alright, so we got it all back together. Let's make sure our IMEI still shows up. I'll be unhappy if it doesn't. Alright, so it still shows up, so we're good. And that is Baseband. I'm glad it went correctly on stream. Sometimes it doesn't, and then it's really annoying. Yeah, Target, I think Target's still here. IMEI, yeah, that's for camera, isn't it? The IMEI lines, camera data lines. They also have camera I2C lines too. Or is IMEI the LCD? LCD has data lines also. There's a lot of stuff on the phones that talk to each other, but SDA, SCL, blah blah blah. Yeah, pretty much. Baseband. Damn right. Alrighty, ladies and gents. That's gonna conclude it for today. Tomorrow I am gonna do the rest of my reviews. Promise. I will not scout. Wait a minute, it's 3 fingers, isn't it? It's 2, 3. Scout's honor. Can't hold my finger down anymore. I'm too fat. Scout's honor. I'm gonna do the rest of the Union Repair reviews. Mostly it's tools and mats. So like the tools that we use for underfill and lifting chips and scraping underfill. We're gonna do all that tomorrow. But I'll be back on then. Thanks everybody for watching, and you all have a good night, day, whatever time zone you're in. And I'm gonna head home and eat some steak. Wee-hee. Have a good night. See y'all.